What's going on, Dolphins fans? It's Connor from the Dolphins Dive, and in today's video, we're going to be going over a record prediction for the Miami Dolphins as the schedule was just dropped last night. Before I hop into today's video, quick little plug to the merch shop, dolphinsdive.com. You can get dope Dolphins merch like this Mike McDaniel McLovin Super Bad reference shirt. We got some other merch on there, two a time, and some other things like that. And I appreciate anybody who's bought merch in the past couple weeks. It's been doing pretty good, and I appreciate everyone so much for that. But without further ado, I'm going to hop right into today's video. So week 1 at Los Angeles Chargers. 4 o'clock game. This is a tough game, honestly. This game could go either way. Obviously, Dolphins-Chargers played last season. The offense was quite lousy and we lost. But quite frankly, I see Mike McDaniel making adjustments. The Dolphins have a whole new defense, which is something to take note of. Maybe the defense takes a couple weeks to gel, but I'm going to be optimistic. I'm giving a Dolphins dub starting 1-0 on the season. Week 2 at New England. Sunday Night Football. Once again, Tua has not lost to the Patriots, and a big reason is that he doesn't... Obviously, Belichick's known for deceiving quarterbacks, and I'm not saying Tua has not been deceived by him, but Tua does a very good job at limiting mistakes. Like, Belichick will get quarterbacks to spiral. Tua doesn't spiral. He does a good job of, okay, it's not there. I'm gonna just hit my safety valves, and when the big play's there, he hit it. Obviously, the Waddle play last season is a big reminder. And the Dolphins, quite frankly, should have beaten the Patriots the previous time we played them. We obviously went 1-1 last season, but I think it was Skylar Thompson threw a pick six. It was just, the offense was so bad without Tua. But healthy Tua, we take a dub. Dolphins move to 2-0, in my opinion. Week 3, home game against the Denver Broncos. Now, this is, once again, a tough game. It's so hard to call records, man. Like, I'm not trying to be biased, but at the same time, like, there's so much variables. How does Russ do with Sean Payton? And quite frankly, I don't know. I don't think Russ is as bad as he was last season. I really don't think that was purely on Russ. They have some good weapons. Their O-line's pretty good. Javonte Williams should be back. Their defense is pretty solid. So I'm giving the Dolphins a dub, but I don't think the Broncos are as much of a pushover as some people may think. I think the Broncos are a solid team. And for some reason, I have the Dolphins starting off at 3-1, which is kind of absurd, but we keep it 3-0. Sorry, not 3-1. But I kind of spoiled it. Dolphins at Buffalo Bills. I tend to like to split division games. They're so hard to predict sometimes. Obviously, we may think the Dolphins are better than everyone else, but you play twice a year. You know each team inside out. I'm going to give the Bills the benefit of the doubt, give the Bills a dub. So the Dolphins are at 3-1 heading into Week 5, home against the New York Giants. My friend's a Giants fan. We actually talked about it last night. I'm rooting for his team to be good, so we're like, I hope the Giants do good, but their roster really isn't that talented. Obviously, they had a great run last season. They did much better than everyone anticipated, but I still don't think the roster talent's quite there yet. I think Dable's a great coach, and they can run the ball and play very good defense and mistake-free. So that gives them the opportunity to win every game, but I'm going to take the Dolphins, moving to 4-1. Into Week 6 against the first overall pick, Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. I think this is the easiest prediction I made so far, giving the Dolphins a dub and moving to 5-1, which, once again, I don't think we're going to start 5-1. I'm an optimistic person, so that's why I'm doing this, but let's be real. The Broncos game, in my opinion, is a toss-up because that's a very talented roster with good coaching. Same thing with the Chargers. The Giants are a good team as well, but whatever. Week 7 at Philadelphia Eagles, Sunday Night Football. I'm going to give the Dolphins the L there. It's a cool storyline, Tua versus Jalen Hurts, but the Eagles have a very talented roster. It's at home for them. I'm not trying to make the Dolphins go 17-0, so I think this is a good spot. Like I said, Eagles are a very tough team coming out of the Super Bowl and got only better. And I think I mentioned this yesterday. I think this might be a game where it exposes some of our holes, and you can go out and make some adjustments at the trade deadline or go make some free agent veteran pickups to help plug those holes to get you ready for the playoffs. So got the Dolphins moving to 5-2 into Week 8 against New England Patriots. And as I mentioned, I do prefer the Dolphins to, like, in my predictions, I tend to go 1-1 in division. But fluff it. Dolphins beat the New England Patriots and sweep them for the season. Now, once again, the Patriots might not be as talented as us, but they're always very competitive. They play great defense, can run the football. Bill O'Brien is a very good addition for them. I wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins split. I would not be I wouldn't be too upset if we did split with them. They're a good team. But getting them twice before November is definitely beneficial. The Patriots are very known for being a second half team, and they take some time to really hit full steam. So I think that's definitely a benefit. Week 9 at Kansas City Chiefs in Frankfurt, Germany. So right now I have the Dolphins, I believe, at 6-2, heading into Week 9 against Kansas City Chiefs. Just won the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, I'd argue they also got better like the Eagles did. So I'm going to give the Dolphins an L here. Once again, any given Sunday, I think the Dolphins can win games I'm saying they're going to lose, and they can lose games I'm saying they're going to win. It's so hard to predict, but this is just my analysis. The Chiefs are very good. But once again, these are really important games to see how the Dolphins stack up. And like I said, I think the Dolphins will likely win some of the games I'm predicting them to lose, and they might lose some of the games I'm predicting them to win. But overall, I think the Dolphins are going to be a very, very good team. They have a Week 10 bye, which is really good. It's not too early, not too late. You have a pretty sweet spot, so you kind of can split the season up in halves, and it doesn't allow your players to get too dragged on. But then coming right out of the bye, Week 11 against the Las Vegas Raiders at home, which I think's a very beneficial game for the Dolphins. Right now I have them obviously at 6-3. I'm going to have them moving to 7-3. The Raiders are not that good. Jimmy G's their quarterback. They got some good pieces. Their pass rush is pretty good with Chandler Jones and Max Crosby, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of Josh McDaniels as a head coach, but maybe they prove me wrong. Maybe they make a good season. Obviously, Devontae Adams is a superstar, but have the Dolphins moving on to 7-3 at New York Jets Week 12. And this is where I'm going to, and this is the Black Friday game, which is really cool. This is where I'm going to put my rule into effect with the Dolphins splitting with divisional teams. So I'm going to give the Dolphins an L here, move to 7-4, heading into Week 13 at the Washington Commies, where I'm going to give them a dub because, once again, the Commanders are not that good. They got Sam Howell at quarterback, so I believe I have the Dolphins now at 8-4, which is a very good point to be in the second half of the season. 8-4 heading into Monday Night Football, January 11th, home against the Tennessee Titans, and I'm going to give the Dolphins another dub here, moving to 9-4. I think most fans would agree on paper the Dolphins are the better team, but like I said, the Titans are going to be a team that can run the football well with Derrick Henry, and they're going to play good defense because Mike Vrabel will just get those guys going. So any given Sunday, I'm not saying the Dolphins are a lock. I'm not saying the Dolphins are going to pub stomp anybody, but my analysis, I like the Dolphins in that matchup. Moving to 9-4. Yes, that's correct. 9-4 heading into Week 15, home against the New York Jets. Obviously, I gave the Dolphins an L in the one game, so I'm going to give them a dub here. Moving to 10-4, heading into Week 16, which is really good. But more on the Jets. Obviously, they got a lot better. The biggest thing holding them back last season was quarterback play, and they went out and got a MVP, two-time MVP in the past 3 years, I believe. Aaron Rodgers is very good. With Nathaniel Hackett specifically, I think they mesh very well in a scheme. I don't necessarily like Nathaniel Hackett much as a OC, but with Aaron Rodgers, I think that really they both know each other so well. They know the system. I think the Jets might take a little bit to get going this season just because the continuity in offense is a little different. Obviously, Rodgers knows the system, but all the young guys and having to get that chemistry down with the receivers, I think it might take some time. So I think the Jets might have a slow start, but they're going to be a good team regardless. So have the Dolphins moving to 10-4, heading into Week 16 against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, this is honestly a tough game to predict. 10-4, Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are really good, obviously, but I don't know. They obviously had a good season last season. Micah Parsons is a superstar. Their O-line's always very good. Tony Pollard, I don't know if he's going to be healthy, honestly, because he obviously suffered that injury. This is a tough game to predict, honestly. But I'm biased. I'm going to give the Dolphins a dub here. Dolphins move to 11-4, heading into Week 17 at the Baltimore Ravens. I feel like the Cowboys and Ravens are in a similar tier of good teams. Trying to not get too excited and to be able to account for some potential down points in the Dolphins season, I'm going to have the Dolphins beating the Baltimore Ravens. I honestly was gonna have them losing, but I don't know, man. I'm riding the Dolphins train. Obviously, this is very biased. I don't think the Dolphins are gonna end up winning this many games, but move to 12-4 heading into Week 18, home against the Buffalo Bills, which hopefully the Dolphins aren't playing for anything, but who knows with seeding and everything. Hopefully, we're already a lock for the playoffs, and we don't really have to worry about this game. But if we do have to worry about this game, we're playing the Buffalo Bills at home. I'm going to make my prediction based off both teams are competing at full strength. Obviously, both teams could already clinched their seats for the playoffs and they can't move up or down. They'll play their backups, and that impacts the results. But like I said, I gave the Dolphins the L in the first game. I'm going to give the Dolphins a dub in the second game, moving to 13-4 on the season, which I don't know the last time the Dolphins have won 13 games. And quite frankly, I love the Dolphins. I think they're a really good team. I don't see them winning 13 games. Our schedule is way too tough. This was a very optimistic approach on my end. Like I said, there was plenty of games there that I had us winning that we could lose, and some of the games we lost, I had us losing, we could win. So, moral of the story, the schedule is very difficult, but I think the Dolphins are good enough to go through it, and it's going to get them battle tested for the playoffs. So, I'm hoping we can win the division, and if not win the division, at least get the number one wild card seed. But man, it's very difficult. This schedule was not easy whatsoever. I think our easiest games are the Titans, Commanders, Raiders, Panthers. Like they're not good teams, but they still have very good players. Like the Panthers, on paper, aren't the best team, but they're an up and coming team. They got a good defense. Bryce Young, who knows how he plays, but they got Miles Sanders. They've got pieces, man. So none of these teams are cakewalks on our schedule, man. So it's a very tough schedule. But like I said, my hope, year two in the same system, I think is definitely going to benefit the Dolphins with very good DC and Vic Fangio, but that also might take time to develop. But I'm hoping the Dolphins come out battle-tested from this tough schedule with around 10 to 12 wins would be very, very good. And primed and ready for the playoffs. So that's my video. Comment down below your record prediction. I'm interested to hear. Check out the Dolphins side for the best Dolphins merch out there. Until next time, I'll catch y'all.